So what was your experience when you first ran as a woman?
Wow, it's so long ago now. I can hardly dig back that far.
Women's washrooms in the legislature when Alexa got elected.
Although it was interesting because that was the most physical thing people talked about, and the media always wanted me to tell those tales, and I was somewhat reluctant because I really had this idea that I don't want to spill whatever ink I have or what airtime I have access to whining about a washroom for myself in the legislature. Like, that is so unimportant in the total scheme of things, and this is such an old story, but I actually discovered it was quite an asset because it meant I went downstairs to the public washroom where all people, you know, school kids coming and going and tourists and service groups that were coming to see the legislature were all lined up at the washroom, and I'd get to chit-chat with them. I'd get to hear what they thought about what was going on. I'd hear about their issues, and, you know, it turned it into an asset.
A heartfelt thank you to you, to the people of Halifax, and to all of Atlantic Canada.
You hear a lot about the three barriers to women running. Number one, a woman selecting herself. Number two, the party selecting that woman to be the candidate. And then number three, the voters selecting that woman to be the MP. And that's sort of tried and true. There's all kinds of analyses on that. But then there are the nuts and bolts of what it is to campaign. You have to raise money. You have to have someone do your laundry. You have to have all those things in place.
How do you encourage women to run?
Well, I think the answer is yes, you absolutely need to take special steps, and I'm proud to say that the New Democratic Party started doing that in the early 70s when Rosemary Brown was the first woman to seek the leadership of any political party in Canada. She ran against Ed Broadbent, who had a, very solid base. Huge mobilization of feminists and activists and groups underrepresented that saw her leadership capability and swung in to support her. She didn't win, but she came a solid second after a number of long-serving, experienced members of Parliament. The party has formed that infrastructure, participation of women network, that allows women to communicate with each other more easily, come together from time to time.
When I look at my own situation, I would not have run if I hadn't been asked. Full stop. If the candidate search committee had not said, hey, have you ever thought about running? Come talk to us, I would never have run.
I was actually in a conversation with her because she was on her way to move to Ottawa. Anyway, a little bit reluctantly, am I willing to say, are you willing to say, because she loved this community and was so actively engaged in community work that she wasn't sure about going to Ottawa full-time.
I applied for a job with Alexa.
So I was encouraging her to apply for this job, and then it was like a light went on. There are more options in Ottawa than serving on the staff of an elected member. Like, how about being an elected member?
And then we also
You didn't see yourself that way at that point.
No, I didn't, right? It took someone
She wasn't a shrinking violet, but she wasn't thinking of putting herself forward
I think a lot of women say that, though. A lot of women say, the first question, if they are approached, would you consider running, is, why me? And so that's one reaction, and the other one is, wow, never thought about it.
Yeah, it's not that you don't think you can't do it. Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of men just say, wow, yeah, sure, okay, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I ran in 13 campaigns, including the 2 leadership campaigns in which I ran, and I don't really ever remember approaching a man who said, I couldn't do that. But that's the usual response of most women initially. And then you say, and this was an early tip that Rosemary Brown gave me, before you say, I could never do that job, go down and sit in the gallery of Parliament or the gallery of the legislature and seriously, assess what's going on. Don't just do it once. Do it a few times, and then you look at yourself in the mirror and say, gee, I could never do what those guys do down there. And it's worked for a lot of women. They say, oh yeah, well, now that I see the reality, I could certainly see why we need women in there, and yeah, I could do that. So there have to be special outreach measures because women don't normally just think, boy, that's what I want to do, is be a politician. Continues to be seen as a primarily man's world for all kinds of reasons that are obvious.
We have a very, very friendly cat, desperate for attention. Yeah.
Oh, Megan, I'm sure that cat's going to vote for you.
I like his color.
Not happy.